I just want to take bass guitar lessons.
Hey everybody, welcome to What Drives Us, episode 181 for April 13th, 2016. Evan Fusco's here, and he says he wants to take bass lessons. You know what, Evan? Me too. Me too. Because, you know, it would be fun to play that live.
No doubt. Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I asked Michael if he'd teach me, and he looked at me and said, no. Literally. We've been friends for like 15 years. We've been friends for like 20 years, 25 years. And he looked at me and just went, no.
Maybe he wishes to maintain that friendship.
Yeah. He's not looking for a protege. Let's put it that way.
Second delay. Nothing.
Yeah. One of the nicest, most generous, gentle people I know. And no, Russell, no. So, my name is Russell Frost from WhatDrives.us. I am your host for the evening. Danny Cooper is a proud new father. His brand new daughter, Corinne, was born last week. I want to say last Friday.
She's gorgeous.
Looks like a baby. What do you mean gorgeous? She looks like a baby.
She's a gorgeous baby.
Shocking.
Gorgeous baby. And the important thing is mother and daughter are doing fine. They are home, and Danny is being a dad tonight, and we wish them all the best, of course, and congratulate them on the birth of their third baby. So, really, we're going to have to watch making the Cooper isn't very manly jokes, you know?
That's true.
Wait, I can't say it because father of three. Oh, jeez.
Yes,
Maybe
yeah,
I'm
but I did mine in 2 shots, so.
Oh! I like the way you put that, too. That was nice. Very delicate. Very delicate. 2 shots, baby. Why waste time? Well, let's introduce our very virile and masculine panel. Starting with the most virile and masculine, the man from our man in Missouri, Dr. Evan Fusco.
Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? Good to be here tonight.
So good to have you here with us, Evan. And next to him, our man in the Pacific Northwest, he's certainly virile and masculine as well. His name is Patrick Connor.
Hello from Oregon, where we have a robust West Coast electric highway, and I needed it today. My Leaf charged up not 1, 2, 3, 4 times.
Wow.
4 quick charges today.
4
Up and down
Wow.
I-5. Yeah, had to put some miles on today.
It's about 50 miles.
Wow. Oh, that's cold. That's cold, Fusco. I mean, well, maybe we'll share that another time. But, yay, electric highway.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
you couldn't do that here.
there you go. You see, you'd be at a supercharger going, it doesn't work. It doesn't. Damn it. Can I? Yeah.
Or running out on the side of the road. Nobody on here's ever done that, right?
Ow. Okay. I'm going to introduce our man from Boulder Hybrid Conversions. He's our man in the Rockies, Mr. Paul Guzik.
Hey, glad to be back.
Well, thanks
Good
for
to see
coming
me.
back,
There
Paul.
you go. Yeah.
That's better.
And last and not least, our man in Canada from the Waterloo Region Voltec Group, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome from the Great White North, where it's starting to get warm. We are all happy about that, let me tell you.
I saw a photograph from Lancaster the other day, and it was like green. There's green grass and stuff already.
So
Yeah.
what's warm in there? It's like 0 centigrade or what?
Anything above 0 centigrade is warm.
Anything above freezing. So
When
really,
the water starts to turn into water, that's what.
when we see that transformation from solid to liquid, yay, spring!
That's right. Yep.
So
Convertible
weird.
tops come down. People wearing shorts. It's crazy.
Wow.
You got to make the most of that 3 weeks of summer you get there.
I've been gone from the north for one winter, and already I'm like, what's winter? I don't even understand it. It's so horrible. Life is so transient. Well, we have a bunch of news stories tonight, so let's get this show on the road. I want to start out with a weird little thing that Tony Schaefer was nice enough to send. Not my favorite website in the world, and why do I bash them? Just because I'm a jerk. BusinessInsider.com reported that the French government just offered Tesla, wait for it, drum roll please, a decommissioned nuclear plant to use as a factory.
They've probably been waiting for that.
Now,
Like, why would you want it?
that was the thing. Like, unless you're a Bond villain, why do you need a decommissioned nuclear plant?
He could
You make
dismantle
batteries
it and
there.
sell it to North Korea or something.
Yeah, it's
You make batteries there that come off the line fully charged.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. And the cars all glow.
There you go.
Yeah.
No need for headlights.
You know what? Now the other side is, seriously, if you've looked at Fessenheim on the map, Fessenheim's actually a really good location, I guess. I mean, not being a European guy, but it's right on the Rhine River. It's just about 30 kilometers north of Basel. So, I mean, it's like you could just ship things up to Frankfurt. I wouldn't think it would be hard to get them to Paris or, certainly, or even through Switzerland, maybe even into Italy. So, location-wise, it might have some advantages, but still, it's a nuclear power plant. I'm not sure how you go from nuclear power plant to car manufacturing plant.
Unless it's just a land. I mean, they have to put those on fairly large pieces of land, to have enough space around it.
So
So
they need like a lake for cooling and stuff.
yeah,
Well, it's right on
Or
the
they
Rhine
use the
River.
river.
Yeah,
No
it's
one
right
else
on the
wanted
Rhine
it.
River.
So they just dump
Just
the
open.
waste back in the river.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? You say that like it's a bad thing.
It just goes away.
and then would they expect Tesla to pay for the decommissioning?
No, I think that's actually part of the deal, is that they're going to decommission it, but they want Tesla obviously to commit to upgrading it. And yeah,
So-
Evan, you're right.
so
There's a
could
whole
it be
bunch
a-
of property around this.
Could it be kind of a PR thing then, saying we're moving to cleaner energy and we've replaced this dirty energy with, like a, I don't know. I mean, the French are weird anyway, so
You are so not welcome back in France.
So now we have countries
Yeah.
off of the.
Take it home, country.
France, we didn't mean that. He's not really part of the show. So, you know what? I actually think
I
it's
can
really
tell by my
sly.
paychecks.
I'll give him credit. I mean, I think it's a smart move. Whether Musk was considering it or not, or whether it's a great idea, he's talked about. They built the plant in Brussels, the assembly plant, and certainly as Tesla grows, a full-fledged manufacturing facility in Europe isn't a bad idea. And if the French can start the conversation by offering Musk some land,
Yep.
better there than in Germany.
Right.
I mean, it's close to Germany too, right? Like it's almost on the border.
It's
Correct.
right on the border. Yeah, it's right on the border. It's like I said, it's like 30 kilometers north of Switzerland. It's actually really kind of interestingly located.
So now
So-
Faraday Future's going to move in, right? Give us the land.
Did we not cover the Faraday Future thing live today?
Oh, God.
I don't think Faraday covered the Faraday thing live. And I will say this: I did watch some of it.
Oh,
It
really?
was the most excruciatingly boring and tedious event I've ever seen. And keep in mind, I've been to trade shows. Lots of them. But back to Tesla. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the other thing that the French government, and they mentioned this in the article, is trying to work here is that this is going to lose a certain amount of jobs by decommissioning this plant. So the idea was that they would exchange, obviously, these nuclear power plant workers' jobs for Tesla manufacturing jobs and be able to retrain some workers and keep employment in that part of France
So all the
high.
Homer Simpsons would get jobs working at Tesla.
Absolutely.
It's that or Faraday Future.
So it was smart of the government to, even if Tesla has no interest in it, at least now there's a whole lot of people that know they have this land and they
Right.
want someone to come build there.
Right.
So for a PR move, it was good.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think it's a
should have just added Apple or Tesla are welcome to
Yeah.
build their autonomous vehicles.
yeah. Ooh, you need a secret plant? I mean, come on, a former nuclear facility? What better place to build a secret car than a nuclear plant? Who's going to dig a tunnel to sneak into that? You know?
Well, at least the grounds would be pretty secure. They probably have, fences and checkpoints and stuff like that.
They look very secure from the satellite photos. Yeah. I'm actually looking at satellite photos right now, and it's it looks like a complex.
Or a prison.
So we have a question from a listener. John Von Bokel is asking, has Tesla commented officially on the offer?
They have not.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything either.
We have not. The only thing, the French energy minister, the French energy minister who started this conversation, whose name I'm going to screw up, but it's Ségolène Royal. She
Royale?
No, there's
With
no
cheese?
E at the end. It is Royal, or it could be Royale. I don't know. I don't speak French. I'm very American at
Can't say
heart.
the last letter. It's Royale.
But the question when people asked her what Tesla said, she said, and I quote, "He didn't say no." End quote. So, cheers to her for keeping it optimistic.
Well, I'm going to steal the segue here because maybe Tesla hasn't responded because they've been a little bit busy here this past 10 days or so. After I don't know if we had the official numbers on last week's show, but I don't think we did. Elon and Tesla came out the next day. They had officially over 325,000 Model 3 reservations in the first 7 days after they began taking them. And you got to believe they're probably at 500,000 now, or very darn close to that. And then Elon and SpaceX managed to return a rocket from space and land it on a postage stamp in the middle of the freaking Atlantic Ocean. And
that's pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing. And then, because that wasn't quite enough, they announced a refresh of the Tesla Model S, which is really the first significant cosmetic refresh that's come out on the vehicle since it was first released in 2012. And mostly some superficial things. The front nose cone is going to now match what we see on the Model X, and similar to what we saw on the Model 3 reveal. There's a little change on the rear hatch area where the air dampeners changed, and they lowered the like a little, I don't know what it is, spoiler, I think is too strong a word, but there was like a little spoiler on the back end that's now been taken off. They added adaptive LED headlights, so that three-way, so apparently they seem to turn when you turn. They don't actually physically turn, but different LED lights come on. And that's standard on the Model X as well. And then they've changed the base charger, which was a 40-amp charger initially, and then you could upgrade to dual chargers for a total of 80 amps. Now it's standard. It's going to be a 48-amp charger, so slightly faster charging. And you can upgrade to a single 72-amp charger. Again, exactly the same features that are available on the Model X. So I've just got it's a rear diffuser that they seem to have changed on the.
Are they adding the biohazard cabin filter?
They're adding the biohazard filter, and then they've changed some of the interior options. They've raised the price a bit. The base price is only, I want to say, $1,500 higher, but most people that were putting together packages of some of the upper level combinations are finding significantly more than that, like $6,000 increase in price for a similar options vehicle. So, and then someone, and I hadn't seen it actually before we were having our pre-show talk here. Apparently the Model X price also went up some today, and I haven't had a chance to look into that.
What about the towing hitch? They said the 3 will have one, and that not for like actually pulling a trailer, but if you want to put a bike rack on a hitch-mounted one, is a great way to go.
I've seen some disappointment that was not announced. and as far as I know, won't be included. But who knows? It's certainly something that I think people were kind of hoping for, or at least some people were hoping for, but I haven't seen it.
Is that? Have you seen anybody do that? I mean, like custom?
Yeah, a few people have. You can slap something on underneath there.
Yeah.
But the custom one, the one that comes with the X, is like really nice. It's like a snap-on hitch, and you get this really fancy, pretty curved thing that looks like it belongs on a Model S, as opposed to some ugly squared-off piece of iron sticking out from the underside of your $120,000 car.
I seem to recall that. So
there's a company called Eco Hitch that makes a aftermarket hitch system for Tesla.
Oh, because the one that they showed at the reveal for the X is not available in the store.
Really?
It's not there. Yeah.
Wow.
I think So that, as far as I know, that it actually is not completely available for purchase yet. I think it's all part of the production stuff.
And by the way, I was talking to my friend Google just now, and the last official numbers we have from Tesla is the 325,000 number of Model S pre-orders. They haven't updated that, and I might contest Evan's 500,000. It'll be interesting to see.
They got 300,000 just from our viewers, plus a couple
more. And half of those came from the Fusco family.
Yeah.
And our staff, come to think of it. So between the What Drives Us panel and the Fuscos, I mean,
it's covered.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Elon's going to get nervous if somebody says, you know what, I'm going to cancel my... That was a good segue, Evan. I'm impressed.
Yeah, you like that? It's smooth, huh?
That was nice.
I thought you were actually going to talk about a segue. Right off.
The new segue. What is the new?
That Chelsea was on.
Yeah. Chelsea was exploring that in New Zealand. Our friend and panelist Chelsea Sexton was down in New Zealand for the last week doing some EV events down there, and posed with the exciting new $1,500 Segway, which looks strangely like a cheap $50 Chinese hoverboard.
Yeah, except with a stick poking up the middle.
Yeah, and that didn't look comfortable. Something about that just said,
that could be trouble.
Yeah, you might want to avoid this.
Don't take it on the plane.
You know what? Since we're talking about Tesla, I want to bring up a little meme that annoyed me.
We're really going there.
I'm going there.
All right.
I am going there, baby. There's a little meme passed around on Twitter, in fact, and I'm going to put it up on the screen, just so that I don't have to actually read it, because it's that offensive. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so here it is, the Tesla Model 3. So I guess the idea is that this is to promote the Model 3. And my problem with this is really, really simple. Number one, to promote the Model 3, you don't have to bash the Bolt. Okay,
so what about people who aren't watching the show but just listening? You gotta give them something.
Do I have to read it?
Yeah, you gotta read it.
Yeah.
Okay, Patrick. Yeah, that's a good point. So the memes is this: Tesla Model 3. Quote, GM is making a $37,500 car that would sell for $20,000 if it wasn't electric, while Tesla is making a $35,000 car that would sell for $35,000 if it wasn't electric. It's credited to someone named Frederick Lambert, but I don't think that was actually the person that posted it. It was someone that goes by @CalgaryKiaGuy. So I'm not really sure where it came from. Cheers to both of them for being dead ass wrong on this.
We spout opinions about how things look and what we think they're worth all the time. You might not agree with these guys, but yeah, everybody has an opinion.
Okay, so
let me concede where I agree with you, and that I would rather not see bashing of other vehicles, but I think that's sort of the nature of competition in general, and I don't know you necessarily have to take it as competition, but when you look at these two cars side by side, and you look at the features, and you look at the range, and you look at the speed, and the performance and the charging network that's available, there's a winner here, and that's the bottom line of the whole deal. Now, where I do agree with you is we should probably be bashing Toyota, and we should probably be bashing some of these other major manufacturers that are giving us jack shit, because that's the real problem here. And I'm on your side 100% on that, Russell. Right. So I think in general this was just for fun.
I don't think we need to tear down unless it's a bad car. I don't think we need to tear it down in this category. I think we can support two cool cars, and maybe somebody's going to buy the Chevy because they like Chevy, and maybe somebody's going to buy the Tesla because they like the Tesla. We can argue endlessly over which car is better, and I would not take the side that Chevy's going to.
Well, and neither of them are real anyway, and the final prices haven't been. Who knows what the Tesla will really sell for when it comes real, and the Bolt.
And that's my main problem with this thing, is that the idea that like Chevy's ripping you off, selling you a crappy $20,000 car, and Tesla's giving you this awesome $35,000. You know what? First off, I want to see real humans pay $35,000 and walk away with a Model 3. Then I'll believe it's a $35,000 car.
Right.
Okay? And that's a challenge for them, because Tesla hasn't built cheap cars ever. Never.
And I don't think they've delivered significant quantities of any cars at the price they said they would initially be. So,
right. Well, also Chevy is going to have the first crack at the bat here. So they are going to be releasing a car this fall, and we will see. That there's been a number of different speculation as to what the production amounts are going to be. I've heard 30,000, a couple of different places. They obviously feel that they can sell that car. They've gone through the marketing. They feel that is going to be their price point, and they feel there's a market for it. So they get first crack at the bat. Let's see what they can do with it.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's people that are going to love whichever car they buy, and think it's the best car ever.
There's people who buy Chevy Malibus and love them. So.
I don't want to run them down. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like, I don't think they deserve that.
Yeah, when electric cars are a fraction of 1% of the market, there's room for more than one. Definitely.
Right. And we're going to get into a car where we can do some serious running down here in a minute. In fact,
thank goodness.
I'll go there, but I want to give everybody a chance. Is that the last word? Do we need to, Evan? Do you and I need to go head to head on this a little more?
The only thing I don't really like it's not a real car yet. You know what? At this point, if you still doubt what Elon Musk is capable of, you're just not paying attention. No. And I have zero doubt in my mind that he'll build this car. And he's already said he expects the
I'm sure
average.
He'll build the car, but it's probably going to come out at 48 or something.
Well, no, what he said is that he expects the average sale price will be around 42.5, and that's probably a good number. And look, there's the minimum capabilities. He's said all along it's going to be 35. I believe it'll start there. Will it creep up? Hell yeah, it's going to creep up. And I think a lot of people are going to option it out significantly higher.
Yeah, I mean, some people want a steering wheel and passenger seat.
Well, you don't get a dash cluster already, so. Yeah.
They give you an old Samsung smartphone.
They give you a milk crate as the seat.
Yeah, it's a speedometer, trust me. No, I mean, Evan, I get where you're coming from, but I don't think it's unreasonable for us to say, you know what, it's not a reality until it's a reality.
All right.
I'm not saying that he's not delivered before. I don't have to go down that line. I love Tesla. I love their cars. I would love to own one. But I also don't have to have faith in him. I can demand that he produces a car that does what he says it's going to do for the price he claims, and it's actually out for sale and people are buying them for that price. That's all.
Yep. They do have a history of being late.
And
Absolutely
come November, December, we're going to see that with Bolt. We're going to see what the price is. We're going to see what the real-world experience is. And you know what? There's going to be a year that Bolt's going to have to run around and work or not and demonstrate a value for people before the S comes out.
Yep.
Assuming they meet their targets.
Yeah. So I'm, both companies have something to prove, but I'm a little more. I've always been very open to supporting Tesla, and I'm a little more open to supporting Chevy on the Bolt because number one, I think they've done a great job with Volt. And I think they deserve credit for that.
I would definitely agree with that.
See, there we go. I knew I had one guy on the panel who'd back me up.
I mean,
I'm going to get you a bow tie for Christmas.
I have more respect for GM with the Volt and the Bolt than I do for Toyota with their lame battery vehicles. So
yeah,
absolutely
cheers.
True.
Yeah, I agree. Toyota, who doesn't make an EV.
Yeah.
I mean, at least GM's made, the Volt in 2 generations now, and it's done what GM said it could do. And the owners, the real world experience of the owners is that it's almost entirely an electric car.
Yeah.
But the gas generator is just really there for emergencies. People aren't relying on this. Yet when Toyota talks about their plug-in, they talk about how some people never plug it in. Like, it's okay, it's all good.
Right.
That's crazy talk.
Well, I mean, you know what? If that's the way people want to use it, that's fine. But that's not what I want to promote. I want to promote cars that make it easy for people to drive an electric. That's all. Me.
Yep.
So, then there's Ford. And Ford has a checkered history on the show. The Ford Focus Electric was kind of like the California Condor. Maybe there was 6 in a wildlife preserve somewhere. Maybe you could see them. Maybe there was a photograph of them. Maybe you even saw one once.
They show up at auto shows.
Yeah, but
well, it's the same one. It just moves around.
Oh yeah, it's the same one.
Right. I noticed when I popped the trunk on the Ford Focus Electric I saw in Raleigh, there were 6 license plates in the back. you read it out whenever you want. But so Ford announced. Are you ready? And I got to cheers to the leftlanenews.com. Never heard of you guys before, but I'm sure you're all awesome. And you're huge, you're popular and all that. This headline, though, is so sweet. Quote, Ford's Prius fighting Model E taking shape, unquote. Prius fighting? What?
Model E?
Is this like a fictional car versus a real thing? Again? So now we know why Ford was fighting with Tesla for the Model E trademark.
Yeah.
And won because Ford's going to make a Model E, and it's going to be it's supposed to be on the same platform as the Focus, and it's supposed to be an electric car, but they haven't confirmed that yet. They're playing, but the one thing they oddly confirmed, which really sticks in my craw, it's going to be Ford built tough in Mexico. So they're making it in Mexico. And you know what? I don't have any stake in Mexico's labor market. I always have hated this whole like American car company thing versus those foreign car companies. Those foreign car companies that actually build cars in the United States versus Ford that builds so much of their stuff in Mexico now. So yeah, the Model E, whatever it's going to be, is going to be built in Mexico too. So
but how will they get into the country when Donald Trump builds the wall?
They're going to have a ramp on the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
They're going to jump.
Hazard style.
Or they get the drug cartels to build a tunnel big enough to drive under the wall.
I really like the idea of like thousands of these cars in a single file line on a ramp just jumping over this wall.
That's what the extra suspension is for.
Yeah.
That's right.
I guess. So, I mean, so here's the other side of me being supportive for Chevy and Tesla and E, and like, yeah, make an e-car. There's nothing that would make me happier than for Ford to come out with an amazing electric car. So far, Ford has promised a lot of things, and they haven't delivered on any of them.
So we did sales numbers for Q1. Was it last week or the week before? And Ford had several plugins. They weren't in the top 3, but then if you added up all of their plug-in cars and just looked at the manufacturer listing, they were 3 or 4, so they weren't doing too bad.
Well, there's the Focus Electric and the Energy, the
Fusion Energy.
I'm sorry.
The Fusion Energy and then the what's that? C-Max Energy.
The C-Max. Thank you.
Which has absolutely no cargo space. But.
Not really fitting the C-Max name. Yeah, it was like the Prius with no storage.
Yeah.
Now, Russell, I don't want to get into a nation fight here, but do you have a problem with Dodge building their Pacifica hybrid in Windsor, Ontario?
Ooh.
Let's cross another country off the map.
So what you're saying is, do you just hate Mexico, or is anything outside?
I'm saying, is it that, or is it just it has to be built in the U.S.?
Honestly, yeah, I want to see American car companies building American cars in America. I'm an American citizen, so like you're a Canadian citizen, you want to see cars being built in Canada. You want to see Canadians getting jobs and making cars and those taxes being paid. I want to see the same thing. So, I mean, I'm just glad Dodge is going to be building something.
As we all are.
Yes, we all are. So
desperate. He'll take it from anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, if Ford is actually going to follow through with this and actually build numbers and ship this car to dealers and give people a chance to buy it, then I'll support it. But I would rather that one of the only firm things they had to say about this car wasn't that it was going to be built in their new billion-dollar factory in Mexico.
Right.
I would rather they were building it here. And cheers to Chevy for building Volt here. Cheers to Nissan for building Leaf here. And Tesla for building their cars here. Absolutely. And if they want to build them in Canada, you have a new prime minister who knows? He's a convincing young man.
He's throwing deals around everywhere now. Look out.
You have any old nuclear plants you can donate?
Yeah.
I was wondering how that setup was going to hang there. Thank you, Pat. Thank you. Jeez, the missile silos or something.
There's a lot of land in Saskatchewan, let me tell you.
Yeah,
give it away
The Prime Minister's going to give Elon the province of Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Really. You want a test track, baby? We got a whole province for you. So, I mean, you know what? That's a really good question, though, Mark. That was a very good question, and I
got to believe that it's like that different countries get a share in it because the cars sell in different countries. Right. Like there are different countries that are part of this, this world free trade or North American free trade. I think that there should be some sharing of the jobs, but certainly there can go too much one way, and you've got to watch for that as well. So the pendulum can't swing too far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not excited that Ford built a $1.6 billion factory in Mexico.
Yeah.
Not given the rusting hulk that is Detroit, Michigan. Not given the fact that Ford has no problems waving a red, white, and blue flag to sell their products.
Yeah.
So, I don't notice Toyota doing that, for instance.
They have Jan. They don't need a flag.
Yeah, good point.
The Japanese company?
I don't know. Oh, you know what? I want to turn this over to somebody else because I feel like I've been ranting the whole show.
I'm going to build you a meme, though, that's anti-Ford.
I think you should, yeah. Russell hates Mexican Fords or something, Go ahead. Yeah, I can't wait. I'll build that wall, mister. Hey, Mark, don't you have a news story for us?
Yeah, just on the world news front, the Netherlands have announced that they are now looking at banning the sale of gasoline and diesel-powered cars starting in 2025.
Wow.
So the Netherlands, they have an approximate 1.4% of sales are EVs or plug-ins as of 2013. Obviously, they don't have any extra current information than that, but it is going up. They're only second to Norway as being the EV capital of the world, and they're now looking into ways to cement that they are eliminating the sale of gas and diesel-powered cars. So a very interesting development. Now, the Dutch Parliament recently supported the motion, but the cabinet now must come up with a way to actually implement it. So they're now looking into proposals, how they could possibly do it, different strategies to get that outcome. So very interesting.
Ban gas cars, just put a 300% tax on them, and no one will buy them.
That's certainly a possibility. And they're not saying that, of course, it's illegal to own a gas car. It's just that there will be no gas cars sold going forward. There's nothing about grandfathering them out or keeping them off the roads, but it's an interesting move by the Netherlands.
And the Netherlands is just a couple hundred miles from France, so they'll have that nuclear Tesla
They got
factory.
the nuclear test facility ready for them. Absolutely.
Oh no, not really. I mean,
See how all their stories tie in together somehow.
I like how that works. I had no idea that it's all connected.
That's right.
It's like the world. It's all I'm sorry.
They also suggest that a 15% market share is realistic for EVs before the 2025 date.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? I respect anybody who's going to aggressively do something like that. I don't know that it'll work. I hope it does. But I respect them for trying. And honestly, it's the Netherlands, right? What are we talking about here? How many people? No. We're talking about a geographically small nation.
We can't be striking more countries off our list. There's only so many countries in the world, and we've got a lot of X's already.
I am
you Dutch people don't want to hear about you.
I am not saying anything bad about the Netherlands. What I'm saying is that we're not talking about tens of millions of people. We're not talking about thousands and thousands of square miles. We're talking about something that, for them, is much more doable than maybe for another country. That's
right.
So good for them for leading.
It takes a little country like that to show what's possible and to be a leader. Yeah, to be an example.
16.8 million people.
How many?
16.8 million.
16 million. Wow. Okay.
That's pretty big.
That's pretty big.
That's almost half the size of Canada.
That's right.
And 1% of the landmass of Canada.
And it's all below sea level.
That might be a reason that they're getting serious about it too, because they're going to be the ones that their shoreline disappears the quickest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, speaking of disappearing, or maybe just not appearing, there was a news story in automotive news this week that caught my eye. And it has my old friend, my personal friend, Jim Lentz, who is the North American CEO for Toyota. By the way, he still owes me $10. Actually, Mr. Lentz, you don't owe me $10. I apologize. Please don't sick your legal team on me. Anyway, automotive news. Headline of the article reads, and I'll quote, "Lagging infrastructure slows fuel cell growth," Lentz says.
Oh my God.
And you've got to be a CEO of a multinational corporation the size of Toyota to have an understatement like that, don't you?
I mean, how many cars have they delivered? 12?
I don't know how many the artisans in Japan have whittled this week.
The problem is, so the problem isn't that that's an understatement. The problem is that it shows an utter lack of understanding of why there's a lack of infrastructure. It's the roots of why there's lack of infrastructure is because it's expensive, it's inconvenient,
and it's stupid.
And it's stupid. and therefore nobody builds an infrastructure.
Or is it misdirection?
Well, yeah, certainly.
I think
it's not our fault.
Yeah, right. We made the cars.
Yeah.
What else are we supposed to do? So here's an interesting compare and contrast. So Tesla makes electric cars, and electric car chargers weren't everywhere. So Tesla said, we're going to put our car chargers all over the place so our customers can charge their cars. What's Toyota done? And I quote, the infrastructure is coming along, albeit at a slower pace than we originally expected. There's some delightful statements in here that I do want to dissect if you guys will have the patience for me.
Absolutely.
To prepare for Mirai sales, Toyota has announced plans to develop refueling infrastructure throughout the Northeast. They're deploying Mirai in the Northeast coming up soon, starting with, wait for it, 12 stations in 5 states.
Oh, man. Yeah, you
I
just
should
have
do
to
it.
drive half your state away to fill up. That's all.
So that would mean that you would have just enough juice to find that station, fill up, drive home, and then you'd have to turn around and fill up again.
Right.
You'd just be going back and forth to the station.
Wait, you think we bottomed out? You think we have? Let me give you this one. And again, from the Automotive News article, quote, Toyota and the University of California, Irvine have developed a model mapping distribution of fueling stations, he said. This is talking about some stuff that Jim Lentz had talked about. Our conclusion is that California would need just 68 hydrogen stations for regular refueling of about 10,000 fuel cell vehicles.
Really?
So, California, not like the Netherlands. Big place.
Right.
Yeah.
Lots of people, lots of cars. 68 stations.
68 stations running day and night without a second in between fueling cars.
Yeah.
So if they were all on the major roadways and everyone who bought a car had their job was on one side of the fueling station and their house was on the other side of the fueling station, so that they would always pass by the fueling station, that will work perfectly. But who wants to go 5 miles or 10 miles out of their way to refuel every couple days?
Or
And
50
plan
miles.
for that. Leave a buffer in the tank to get there, you know?
Yeah. This.
I mean, let's
What a
say it was
headache.
30 miles. No one's going to go 30 miles away to fuel their car if it's out of their way.
Right.
Well, these people are going to have to. There's no choice there.
No, they just won't buy them. Nobody that lives that far away would buy
this is
one.
stupid and won't buy it.
So the only people that'll buy them are people that are going to be co-located with the fueling stations, and even they won't buy them. I mean, let's be real. 10,000 cars, they're not going to sell 10,000 Mirai.
They're not even making 10,000 Mirai. They're making 1,500. Right? I mean, I don't know when they're going to deploy these. One more quote from this article, and then I'll stop. Again, this is Mr. Lentz. Another way to look at it, if every vehicle in California ran on hydrogen, we could meet the refueling requirements with only 15% of the nearly 10,000 gasoline stations currently operating in the state.
That's retarded. I mean, you could meet the gas needs with only 15%, but people would hate it. And,
Right.
You know.
Everyone would be waiting in lines all day long.
Yeah.
And you would have to have a non-stop line of fuel trucks to refuel the fueling station because it would be dispensing so much fuel.
Yeah. So he said 10,000. Google says there's 13,500. Either way, that's a lot more than 68. And the reason that there are that many is because that's where it's convenient for people to fill up. They can do it on their drive to and from. And if you had 15% of the gas stations, it would be horribly inconvenient.
Yeah.
And then everybody wanted an electric car, so they didn't have to fuel up anywhere except at home.
Yeah.
And for those of you that have never been to California, I want to tell you that a good portion of those fueling stations, they're busy. They're busy. A lot of them are. And maybe the ones up, in the rural areas aren't, but a lot of those fueling stations have cars in them all the time. That's the 10,000 that exists now.
Right.
You cut that number down to 15% of that number, it would just be insane. This is sort of like the CEO reality, that because I said it, it's a reality.
Yeah, let's unwrap the levels of ignorance here. First, there's just an assumption that
We don't have that long.
Yeah, that they're not that expensive, and why hasn't it happened? It's the government's fault for not deploying these. We had nothing to do with it, and we can get away with some fraction of them to just make it happen. It's ridiculous on so many levels.
And saying that you only need that small amount because you could just run all the cars through it. It's the convenience factor of the people that own the vehicles.
Right.
You cannot have them queuing up and having scheduled times to come in to get your hydrogen. It just will not work.
Right. Electric vehicles have the advantage Evan mentioned. You can just plug it in your garage. You don't need to have any special station to do that. You do need fast chargers for
But if you
long
couldn't
distance.
plug it in your garage and the nearest filling station was 30 miles out of your way from your commute, you probably wouldn't buy an electric car.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, as Patrick says, I just plug my car in at night, and I plug it into a regular wall socket, and in the morning, I'm ready to go with full range.
And
And
it's
that's it.
not that much harder than plugging in your cell phone, which everybody does every night.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hydrogen is everywhere.
That's right. It's the most common element in the universe.
It is. It is.
I may be delusional, but I just keep praying that this whole Mirai thing is smoke and mirrors from Toyota, and they're gonna just suddenly spring on us this most amazing 350-mile range electric car that looks good and goes
12,000.
fast, and it'll be base price is $15,000.
Wow.
The Toyota unicorn is coming.
Yeah, it's going to be called the unicorn.
Oh, Evan, I'm sorry. I had to let you down.
It's not gonna happen. Next year, you tell me there's no Santa Claus.
And my final word on this story is, Jim Lentz, for God's sakes, think of the unicorns. That's all I can say. Don't make those poor unicorns work overtime. And finally, this week, dun dun dun, we're going to go back to our favorite company of the day. Well, actually, maybe not finally. Actually, I'm gonna do one little quick thing after this. But our Clean Technica had a story this week on the coming Tesla supercharging crisis. Excuse me. And this is something that we touched on a little bit during the Model 3 live reveal, and I just wanted to kind of go over it again just to make sure that we kind of discussed it in a little more formal manner, which is Tesla's, talking about mass producing for the first time a vehicle in numbers that they've never produced before. And obviously, not everyone who owns a Tesla does all of their charging at superchargers. When Tesla originally deployed them, the idea was that they were for a specific purpose. Of course, like we tell car companies all the time, you don't get to dictate how customers are going to use your product. So customers have used their superchargers in ways that Tesla hadn't anticipated, and that's the way consumers do things. I don't even know that that's a bad thing. In fact, I think some of this, like, well, if you're not going on a long trip, you shouldn't use it. Why? I understand that's not what Tesla intended, but if I bought the car, why can't I? Is that rude? Is that selfish?
Yeah, it is. It blocks up a spot for somebody that actually needs to use it to charge because the options are limited. It's like, taking up a parking spot for you to eat your lunch at a crowded mall when you're not shopping at the mall. It's rude. It's inconsiderate of other people.
I'm not
Well,
sure.
it
There's
depends.
capacity issues, but I've gone by supercharger stations with 10 chargers and 0 cars plugged in.
Yeah. I'm just going to say, I go by a supercharger about once a week.
Okay, so then let's expand that. So the next reason it's rude and inconsiderate is that if the cost of electricity goes up significantly because of people who are taking advantage of the convenience of having those superchargers there and don't always need them, it's going to raise the cost for everybody else to use the same service, even though maybe they only go on one trip per year that they need to use the supercharger. So I paid the same amount for supercharger access as the person that's using it on a daily basis, yet I'm paying twice for my electricity. I'm paying for the supercharger access and I'm paying for electricity to use on a daily basis. That person's not using it that way. So yeah, I think it's, look, there's this whole evolving EV ethos and morals and ethics that are evolving out there. If there's an EV charging spot, should you park in it if you're not charging? Probably not. Should you
No.
park in it and charge if you don't really need to charge? If you've got a Tesla Model S and you're just hooking up to electricity because it's free electricity while you shop, should you do that? Well, yeah, most of us probably do and probably think that's sort of okay. Whereas somebody with a Volt would say, well, that's inconveniencing me because I have to charge there to top off. Whereas the Leaf driver would say, you don't have to top off. You've got a gas engine that's a backup, and you can keep moving anyway, and you're really inconveniencing me, who should have priority over all of you people because I don't have any option. I've got a short-range electric vehicle. So this is all part
I
of.
think you just made my point.
It's a moving target.
It's a moving target. It's evolving. We don't really know where this is going to end up, but I think I think Tesla's going to take this bull by the horns, and I think what we're going to see is that with the Model 3, I think we talked about this at the reveal week, is that I suspect what they're going to do is they're going to have some sort of a package. You can pay a whole bunch of money, have unlimited charging anywhere you want. Or you could pay a little bit of money and get supercharger access and pay as you go, which is going to be more expensive than charging at home. But if you're an apartment dweller, it may be worthwhile to you to pay $50 a month to charge at a supercharger. And then there will be only a pay as you go, and it's $10 a pop every time you charge. And those are going to be for the people that rarely need to use a supercharger. They charge at home, but maybe they go on a trip once in a while, and they don't want to pay the $2,000 up front, because they think they'll only spend $400 over the lifetime of the vehicle on long-distance travel.
Right.
There's your prediction for a part 2 of the reveal, because we don't know if it's going to be free or not.
I don't think they'll be part of the reveal.
They said they'll be capable, right? So it'll have the hardware.
Yeah.
That part we know.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of speculation out there.
Yep. And people are irrationally attracted to free.
You said irrationally. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I bought a $100,000 car, but I get free electricity that would cost me $1. Yes, I'm gonna go get some.
That is a human condition.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But there's still the issue of the douchebags who block access to charging stations. I was driving a Nissan Leaf last weekend. I go, I'm getting low. I'm going to pull in the Nissan dealer and plug in. Well, they had 2 Nissan ICE vans blocking their charger stations. And it's like, come on, guys.
The
blocking their
dealerships
own.
tend to do the worst. You can go in and ask them to move them, though. They have the keys.
I almost did, but I did have enough to get home, and I said, you know what? They're stupid. I'm just going to do it.
That's better than when you have no idea where the, as we like to call them, ice holes are at. At least these guys, you can go into the office and ask them to move it, and they will.
Yeah, they were Nissan cargo vans that I'm sure the dealer was trying to sell and decided to put them right there in front of the charging stations.
The one charger that they had.
Well, no, they had 3, and they blocked all 3.
They had 3?
Wow, nice.
Well, they had one
Equal opportunity blockers.
With 2 vehicles. Yeah, maybe they're just demonstrating their skill.
Yeah.
We could block 3 spots.
So we believe in electric vehicles here at Nissan, and this is how we show.
They have one around the side that the service bay uses, and that one's usually open if the ones out front aren't.
I drove around the building. I couldn't find any open.
Bad.
See, Patrick's got all these tricks down. He's done them before.
Guerrilla charging, yes.
Guerrilla charging. I was just gonna say, I can see you with some kind of charging cable that has alligator clips on the end of it.
Right. Yep. Unplug the Coke machine, whatever it takes. I can do it.
Well, I would like to plug the PlugShare app, because it is good that people report situations like that, or if a charger's broken. So if you have an EV and you use chargers while running around, check out the PlugShare app. It's very cool.
It is really cool.
Absolutely.
And there are several chargers that you can use that to pay with. So that's way better than carrying a dozen membership cards.
Right.
Yeah, one little bit, Tesla just upgraded the software again on board the Model S and X, and now will tell you if the superchargers are full or if they're accessible and things on when you look at the navigation map. Which
and you have Mario Kart mode.
And there's Mario Kart mode, which
Yeah, absolutely.
So Tesla said they're going to double the number of chargers over the next year. So that's awesome. That'll help. And they do have to accommodate people that live in condos or apartments and don't have garages.
Right.
So they can't just say you can only charge at stations 50 miles from your house. They have to do something.
Well,
Right.
and that was
like
my
Evan said.
point.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I mean, that was my point when I said you can deploy this infrastructure, but you don't necessarily get to dictate to people how they're going to use it, because people are going to use it however they need to use it.
Well, look at that. Look at
Well,
that.
especially if
company
it's
in
free.
Southern California called Tesla Loop, and they are using the superchargers to run clients back and forth between LA and Las Vegas. So they have no fuel charges because they're just using superchargers constantly to refuel and bring more clients back and forth. Is that fair?
Did they buy the car?
They bought the car. Yeah.
Is the agreement if you buy the car, you can use a supercharger?
Yeah, like if you were an Uber driver, you could get free fuel.
Yeah. So again, Russell, you're right. Can we say that they're doing anything against the rules? No. Can we say that they're screwing it up for everybody else in the future? Sure as hell.
And you know what?
Yeah, that's like back in the day when they came out with all-you-can-eat cell phone plans. People would use them as baby monitors because they were paying for airtime.
Right.
Tragedy of the commons.
Yeah.
I mean that's the issue that they're talking about here. Is when something's free, people are gonna use it. And I'm not going to say shame on Tesla for making the free network, because now they've got to deal with it. I also think that with all the good things that I say about Tesla and all the good things that they do, this is something that is up to them to address, not necessarily to let their owners fight it out over who's being a jerk or not. Yeah, you know what? Lots of people are jerks. Absolutely.
Speaking of that, there was also a story last week about that valet that we brought up before in Southern California, where they were going to have a Tesla valet. Well, one of them has shown up, and they are there 7 days a week.
Wow.
In Southern California. And he's got a little stand there with an umbrella, and he is staying out of the sun, and he is actually
accepting
cars
tips.
I'm sure he is. Sure.
Cheers to them. I hope that plan works. If it does,
it would be cool if Tesla opened up their supercharger network to other companies and said, if you want to and are willing to pay, you can plug in. Or they
have. They've made that option available. Just nobody's willing.
Nobody's taking them up on the offer.
Yeah, they've talked to a couple companies, but we haven't seen anything yet.
No, and you know what? If Tesla is actually serious about this valet thing, and they're going to pay somebody to monitor these stations, that might actually be a good thing. Right. I mean, then that's
great to be able to go in and have dinner for a couple hours and not worry about your car and
not worry about being a jerk. Maybe if it tops off in half an hour, the guy moves the car out of the way and somebody else can use it. That's a good thing for everyone.
Absolutely. And it might even prevent a fist fight or two.
Yeah, I totally support the Tesla valet thing. I just think actually deploying it and making it work is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, I think it's something they're just testing, just taking a look at.
Battery swap. Speaking of things that are more legendary than real, should we even mention who broke ground today? And I didn't say wind, I said ground. Well, they broke wind too, but...
Was it like virtual ground on a computer?
Yeah. So our friends at Faraday Future had a big party in Las Vegas today. What a surprise. They're really good at throwing big parties. And it appears that they actually got most of the government of the state of Nevada and the city of Las Vegas, as well as all the legislators, into this party. Seemed like a pretty happening festival. But for their official groundbreaking for their the Apex Industrial Park, which is going to be located where this Faraday Future factory is going to be, this semi-mythical Faraday Future factory, because that's what we know of it right now. That's what it's going to look like, folks. And yeah.
You know, that's strange because I saw another photo and it didn't look like this at all.
That was the
I guess it's not a photo. They're all renderings, but I saw a different rendering.
Yeah, this is today's rendering.
What are those white things on the roof?
This is what the factory looks like today. I think.
Oh, that's the FF.
That's
I
their
see.
logo.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's their logo.
It's sad.
Which
I just now figured out their logo is FF. I thought it was a diamond fish thing. I just
yeah, it might be kind of bad, Patrick. Actually, no, I don't think it's bad at all. So I mean, as usual with Faraday Future, they didn't talk anything about a product. They're making something that's innovative and it's connective, that's going to change the world. Nobody knows what it is. Everybody was very happy that there was a factory, and everybody was happy to take their gold shovels and throw some Nevada desert dirt in the air. Again, sort of like I want it to happen, and I want them to make something cool, but I'm not a big buy it on faith guy. Especially with a company that has a track record of making $2 million styrofoam race cars.
I hope that the state got a deal similar to the one they made with Tesla, because the one with Tesla has several requirements that the company has to deliver on before they get anything.
They actually made Faraday post what we reported on it here a few weeks ago. I want to say a $70 million bond.
Yep.
Ooh.
A $70 million performance bond before Nevada would start bringing in the roads and stuff, so that, because this is kind of out in, I don't want to say an undeveloped area, but it's undeveloped. There's a road and desert out there. So they had to post that performance bond before Nevada would move forward on it.
Here's the image that I saw.
Yeah, that's the original
Oh.
factory. This is what it was going to look like. Okay.
So there's been a redesign in the last 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Looks like some
Wow.
That's what it looks like today.
Spent about 3 hours on that.
Do you see any kind of expansion there? Does it look a little bigger in this one? So
A
it's
lot
like
bigger.
Yeah.
it's either that one. Oops, no, not that. There we
I'm gonna go to X normal and make my own right now.
Yeah.
Sim City.
Or that. It's yeah. Like, I just wish Faraday would talk about their product, and actually, I wish they would just make the damn thing. How did we pick on Tesla? Did Tesla do this? Am I not remembering something with Tesla that, like, there was like some big hypey smoke and mirrors period where all they talked about was what they were going to do before they did anything? Or did actually Tesla just go, hey, look, we got a car?
Well, when did the show start?
Well, the show started after that.
Yeah.
The show started January 21st, 2010.
Well, so you were still pre-production of Model S.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So maybe you
That
were
was
skeptical.
roadster territory, dude.
Yeah, so maybe you were skeptical. I don't know. I don't remember. I've slept.
Through the show or through all the years?
Mostly I sleep through the show. Have you listened to it?
Ouch! It's your show, too. Okay, enough.
Way of it.
On that high note, let's wrap this straight up. But I'm going to go to someone I know can count on for a quality shout-out, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Yes, just shout out to the Waterloo Region Voltec group, and we're actually getting together tomorrow in Kitchener for the Sustainable Waterloo event conference that's being held. It's an annual event, and we're all going to be there. A number of us are, and looking forward to that tomorrow. If you're in KW, please drop by. I'm sure all you guys will be there.
The
KW.
Kitchener-Waterloo region. I love that.
Bingo.
Wow.
KW.
I'll have to check my schedule. Maybe I will be there. Kitchener, Waterloo.
How many superchargers between there and here? Uh-huh. Mr. Guzik, take it away, sir.
I'm going to shout out a group of fine people I've shouted out before, Green Eyed Motors here in Boulder, Colorado. They were had a story today in Green Car Reports. I'll share the link about how they're bringing in all the orphan compliance cars from California and selling them to Colorado.
Aw.
Giving them good homes.
Yeah.
Do they neuter them
Nice
first?
tax deductions.
Wow, look at that, a Kia Soul EV?
Yep.
Oh. I like
And a car
those.
that's actually pretty popular here is the Fiat 500e. It's very
Really?
happy, fun. People love driving it.
Paul, on that used EV rebate, are you allowed to get more than one car if you're a Colorado resident?
You could buy 50 cars.
Wow.
And you could, nothing that says you have to keep them for 3 years or whatever. Like California, there were rebates
So
that if you sold the
I
car.
could get you to buy me a car. I could go down and pick it up from you then.
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
The problem is the person who buys the car has to be a Colorado resident. You have to pay the full price, and then you get the rebate when you file your state tax return, which can be up to a year later. So,
okay.
Right.
So you want to buy a car on December 31st, and then you get your rebate in 3 months.
Immediately, yeah.
So all those people that were picking up the phone to dial you.
Yeah.
Who
You're not going to call me on December 31st now.
Right. Dude, I got a bag of cash, okay?
But it is cool that the dealership has sort of specialized in EVs. I think they said almost 30% of the cars they sell are plug-in vehicles, which is pretty amazing for a used car dealership.
Good for
And,
them. They're cool people. They show up on the page and post some stuff once in a while.
Yeah.
Nice, good plug out. Green Eyed Motors, and what is the URL? Is it gemcar.com?
greeneyedmotors.com.
Is it greeneyedmotors.com? Okay.
Yep.
greeneyedmotors.com. Visit them. Visit Paul at boulderhc.com.
That's right.
Because Paul actually repairs hybrids.
So if you move to Colorado, you can legally buy weed, and you can get a nice rebate on your electric car. So what more could you?
And you have maybe the premier hybrid electric technician, Paul Guzik, to work on them.
That's right. We can fix your. Although, the thing that sucks about electric cars is they don't. We can sell them tires. They don't really break. So.
Oh, is this the Maytag repairman thing or something?
Yeah, there's no oil changes, no spark plugs, no catalytic converters.
No engine shampoo.
No drive belts.
That was always my favorite. You
Yeah.
need an engine shampoo. Do I?
Injector cleaning process.
Yeah.
You could sell Faraday cage spruce-ups.
That's it. Yeah, EM blockers for something,
Yeah.
Lead line seat covers. I don't have a segue, so Patrick, help me, please.
All right. I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. And I want to give a shout out to what drives us. So now that the Model 3 is out, it's been getting a lot of press. I listen to a lot of other podcasts, especially the tech shows have been talking about it. And as excited as they are about it, they don't know what they're talking about. They're saying things like it's a hybrid. No, it's not a hybrid. It's saying things like it'll take you 28 hours to recharge it. And no, that's not the case. So anyway, there's a lot of misinformation going on out there. If you want to know what's up, come here instead. There you go.
All right.
Bravo.
Thank you, Patrick. That was nice. And visit Patrick at oeva.org or at oeva at Twitter.
OEVA.org. One word.
oeva.org on Twitter. Absolutely. Evan, say something nice.
All right. First of all, shout out to John Von Bokel. He stayed on all show as far as I can tell, sent us in some questions, and I really appreciate that. He's actually a friend, lives up in St. Louis, Missouri, and he's going to come down and visit me. We're going to go see a Flogging Molly show next month, so I appreciate him joining us tonight and sending in some questions. Shout out to Danny Cooper for expanding that Cooper gene pool, and congratulations to him and his lovely wife on Nickel on their new baby. That's pretty cool. And finally, if you want some good Tesla information, TeslaMotorsClub.com is a pretty good source. Very busy website, lots of followers, and you can learn anything you want about the Tesla there.
And if you say something stupid, Evan will ban you.
I will, with glee.
You already banned me twice.
I've had 2 of my avatars banned by Evan. Came on going Chevy Bolt, and, yeah, boom, dropped the hammer on me right away. I was like, damn. As always, I want to thank Michael Manring for our amazing theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. Buy a CD, buy a song. Come on, hook him up, manthing.com. As always, if you own a Prius, there's only one place to go for accessories other than boulderhc.com. Go to the Prius Chat shop. That's at priuschat.com/shop. Danny Cooper personally oversees the testing of everything they sell, unlike those other crappy importers that just buy a bunch of garbage that when you get, it doesn't work, it doesn't bolt on. Danny checks it out, makes sure that it works. So if you have a Prius and you need something exciting for it, priuschat.com/shop. He has 3 kids now. For the love of God, please buy something. Okay? 3 kids. That's a lot of mouths to feed. Let's see. You can visit us at whatdrives.us, where you can download or stream the show in video or audio format. You can also, of course, get us through your favorite podcatcher, Stitcher, Slacker, TuneIn, and this weird little thing that kids are raving about called iTunes. Check us out there and drop us a rating if you do download us. We record the show every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, except for next week. We're taking a week off next week. So otherwise, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. here at Google Hangouts on Air, you can watch us live, or, of course, just go to whatdrives.us to watch the show at your leisure in whatever format you wish. And if you're so socially inclined, we have one more place we'd like you to check out. Go to facebook.com/whatdrivesus. We gather a lot of our news there. We interact with people. We post news there. I'm sorry. Patrick posts Linkbait where he trolls me, so that I'll rant on things. So if you want to see Patrick tease me, facebook.com/whatdrivesus is a great place to go. That's all I got. Otherwise, gentlemen, thank you so much. Evan, Patrick, Paul, Mark.
Thank you.
A little hand. Nice job. Evan, I thought for sure we were going to get into fisticuffs tonight. I thought for sure there was going to be like some swearing, some name calling.
There are some dents on my monitor, but
really,
yeah, well,
you hit it well. I mean, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with both of us. I thought we were both going to just, but yeah, I'm glad we didn't.
I've had some
anyway,
wine. I'm mellow.
And to reiterate what Evan said, my co-host Danny Cooper. Congratulations to him and his lovely wife and their beautiful family on the birth of their 3rd daughter. That's 3 girls. All the more reason to go to priuschat.com/shop. But congratulations to them on the new baby, and we hope that Danny will be back with us maybe by the time she's in preschool. I'm thinking about the time you can no longer drive a gas car in the Netherlands. Danny. Or maybe about the time that Faraday Future plant starts pumping out whatever it is they're going to make, toothpaste or garbage cans. What was that?
Toasters.
Toasters, yes. Absolutely. Until then, thanks very much for listening. Download us next week and find out what drives us. See ya.